It is now my pleasure to introduce our mayor, Bruce Harrell, to join us. I'm guessing our mayor has some stories to share about his time in this building. It's too bad we don't have a football.
Good day today. All right. So I have a lot of thanks to give. Wow, I didn't realize so many people were here. A lot of thanks to give for not just the vision. A vision is a good thing, but if you can't implement it, it's just a vision. So the collaboration that we established in this project has just been nothing less than awesome. So, and let me also recognize, I think Councilmember Alexis Mercedes Rink is here. Raise your hand. Thank you for being here. City Attorney Ann Davison, raise your hand. I want to make sure everyone's recognized. And Council President Nelson was recognized earlier. Make sure she's recognized. Let me see if there's any important people to want to shout out. Let me ground this in a quote, if I may. Robert F. Kennedy, in 1962, right here at the Seattle Center, said, "Seattle has distinguished itself by its determination to move ahead, defying odds and obstacles to reach for achievement." And that symbol right there defined us to the world as a city of forward-thinking innovation. Not afraid to have the difficult conversations, but most importantly, to see something beyond what we see right in front of ourselves and to go toward that. And this project today sort of symbolizes everything, the spirit to reimagine, to take advantage of what we can do, and to move forward right here in Memorial Stadium. Now, from graduations and concerts and sporting events, I think most of you have some kind of fond experience at Memorial Stadium, most of you. Unfortunately, most of your memories of Memorial Stadium are dwarfed by mine, because mine was the most important. And that would have been in 1976, when they claimed, the Seattle Times and I think the Seattle PI at the time claimed, the high school game of the millennium. In the year 2000, when we were afraid we had to go buy water, we didn't know if the clocks were going to stop working, they described everything as something of the millennium. The high school game of the millennium was a game I played in 1976, Garfield versus Blanchette. Now, the problem with that high school game of the millennium, they went 4 overtimes and the stands were full and people were standing all around there. The problem with that game is after 4 overtimes, we lost. And ironically, and I don't know, Fred, if this is intentional or not, the way it worked back then, and hey, this is mayor's privilege. You're going to hear this story, and I don't care if you're not here for this. You're going to hear this story because it's the first time I've told it. The way it worked there in overtimes, they put the ball, I think, on the 10, and if you could score, then the other team scores. It wasn't a clock; it was score. The last overtime, I got beat. I lost my coverage right here, and literally right in this area, right here, where they scored that 4th touchdown and we lost. And so I don't know if that was just coincidental, but this is a painful experience for me.
We're trying to see if we can find it.
Okay. I digress. This vision that Marshall talked about so eloquently is a state-of-the-art stadium that will elevate our opportunities for our youth, our arts, it's going to be seamlessly. I mean, Marshall really described the vision of what we're trying to do here. But in a nutshell, it's just reimagined space. What we called early in my administration Space Needle thinking. This is it in action, capturing our One Seattle mantra. Big ideas through collaboration, innovation, and a shared vision. Now, let me be very specific on this public-private partnership. The Seattle Public Schools, nearly $70 million of investment. Thank you. The City of Seattle, $40 million. One Roof helped raise over $30 million in private funding, a $4 million grant funding from Washington State. Again, there's so many people to thank for what we're trying to do. In closing, you guys are waiting for that part, right? In closing, There's one person that never wants credit, never wants attention, but I want to thank him, and that is Deputy Mayor Tim Burgess. The executive team in my administration, we just asked Tim, please make it happen, make it happen, make it happen. And he reached out to all of you and was our lead on helping make this happen. And where I really screwed up was when I had this great announcement to make this during my State of the City. Some bozo decided to put a basketball under here. I knew that'd make you laugh, Chris. And I decided to hold up. And the problem with that, not only was it a poorly timed joke, was everyone didn't hear the announcement of what we're doing here. But today they are listening. This is a great day. And to keep this party going, keep this celebration, this visionary project going, you're going to hear from School Board Director Joe Mizrahi, who I think has 3 daughters in public schools. He shared with me, and the oldest daughter will soon be in high school. So, quite frankly, Director Mizrahi, that's who it's for. It's for the next generation of leaders and students and scholars and innovators. Come up and share some few words, Joe.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor. It's a privilege to be here on this historic day. I want to thank Acting Superintendent Podesta for his leadership, the incredible Seattle Public Schools Memorial Stadium Project team for their dedication and vision. And I want to thank the City of Seattle, the Mayor's Office, Seattle Center, the One Roof Stadium Partnership. This is really a great example of what happens when you have a shared vision and purpose. As Mr. Marshall said, this has been a decade long in the making, and I've been on the school board for 1 year, but I get to be up here. So I also want to thank my fellow school board members. I see Director Rankin here and all the school board directors who preceded me who helped make this project a reality as well. But you know, as members of the school board, it's part of our job to create spaces for students where they can learn, where they have safe environments. But some of that is also creating spaces where they can have these special memories and these big moments in their life. And when I think back to my education, of course you remember your teachers, your school building, your friends, but you also think about these big flashbulb moments in your education. So I think about playing on a team, even though I spent way more time on the sideline than our mayor did, than I did on the field. You think about sitting in the stands and watching your school in their big rivalry game and the camaraderie from that, or walking across the graduation stage. And these are these big flashbulb memories that you have, and this is what we're going to be creating in this building. It's just so exciting. I also think about the fact that all of our buildings that the Seattle Public Schools manages, they're also, they're there for the students, they're there for the families, but they're also there for the whole community. And the fact that we can manage these buildings that are a community asset, that are there for all these great entertainment events, is just such a special thing that we can help be a part of. In closing, I'd like to just send a message to our students, my daughters, the future students, past students. This is really your building. This is your space. This is your stadium. This is a place for you to play fiercely, to dream boldly, and to know that the community is standing behind you. So thank you very much. With that, I'd like to invite up Council Members Joy Hollingsworth and Bob Kettle. Thank you.
All right.
Am I first, Bob? Am I first, Bob? Okay, thank you. There is a lot of people here, Mayor. I wasn't expecting that. Well, first off, thank you all for being here. A couple shout outs. Obviously, the One Roof Foundation have been a phenomenal partner in this, so thank you all. Seattle Public Schools as well. Mayor's Office, I think the mayor already talked about. Tim Burgess, give you 2 shout outs. That's 2 in one day, so go play the lottery. The Seattle Center, and also the City Council, but also former City Council members that made this possible and voted for this, and our voters. The one thing I will say, I had my opportunity, and I said this in our committee meeting, I had the opportunity of, this was my first internship. So I served as internship for the Seattle Public Schools in that little small trailer out there in the parking lot, and memorial under the great Al Harrison, who was the athletic director at the time, and for Seattle Public Schools. And I was able to, Memorial Stadium was my baby. So I got to be able to usher in the kids when they came in here for different performances or football. And I just had great memories about this place. Now, I never lost in here because I never played in here. So I think I got one up on the mayor. I never lost in here. Got you. But the one thing that I think is incredibly important to think about, I remember when I would hear and I would talk to different teams all across the city, and they would talk about how nice of facilities were on the east side. And they would go over there and play, and they wish they had something like this here in Seattle. And now they do. They have something to be proud of. They have something to be able that we're investing in them, especially in sports, which is incredibly important to be a part of a team, to understand what winning and losing is, to understand that you always don't get your way, and failing forward, which is the key for a lot of our new generation that they need to understand. And so being a part of a team, having this environment, being able to be here, I think is going to be great. It's for these two kids that are right here. The two kids, this is for you. You two, right here, that are right here on the ground. It's for, can we clap them up? There, I got our two kids over here. Yeah, beat your chest. You got this. Yep. Those are it's for them. And so in closing, which is your favorite part when you hear an elected official say, in closing, we are incredibly excited for this moment and for this opportunity for the city of Seattle for us to actually showcase and bridge the Memorial Stadium with the Seattle Center to create that open environment and open space. And without further ado, my favorite council member at what time is it? At this current time, okay? Because I have a bunch of my favorite. Council member Bob Kettle.
Thank you, Joy. Joy's my favorite council member all the time, just to put that out. And speaking of time, I'm thinking about the mayor here and his story, and in thinking about that, I think about the first time that I really came here. And I came here with my friend Creighton Carroll, who served on the Queen Anne Community Council with me. And we came down here ahead of the school levy vote. And we walked around the stadium. He was an O'Day player, and he knew that we need to do something about the stadium. But I was really interested in the memorial wall. And so we went to the memorial wall. And to be frank, it too was not in good shape. It was sad. And starting at that point, I started engaging on this. As a member of the Queen Anne Community Council, and by the way, Chair Beth Brunel's here, who chairs the Queen Anne Community Council, she's here. But also with the Ballard Eagleson VFW Post 3063. And comrade, our commander, Allie Teeter's also here joining us. And so we started engaging the city council. And council president, council member Nelson at the time, her staff, Creighton and I were engaging with her and saying, hey, what do we need to do? And then from that, related to the stadium, particularly the wall, engaging with the school district, and particularly Mr. McCarthy, who I don't think is here today, but he did such great work in terms of ensuring to bring up to a level the memorial wall in terms of the state of the wall. But then it needed more than that, the stadium and the wall. And this is where the city, the mayor's office, Mr. Mayor, great work. And I am going to give a third shout out because during this time I was also working with Deputy Mayor Burgess and pushing and saying, hey, we need to do something here. And Director Nellums and then Director Foster. Seattle Center's been so key in this. And these are the pieces that come together. But then finally, the last piece to really make this unique and successful is the One Roof Foundation. Mr. Lewicki, your whole team has been fantastic. I've been working with many of them. And this was the piece that was needed to get across the finish line to get us to where we are today. And I thank the One Roof Foundation for that. It's very important. Also important that I just wanted to say really briefly here is, the school district is about teaching our children. It's about teaching our children in the classroom. It's teaching our children on the lessons, as Councilmember Hollingsworth said, on the sports fields, what they are. But it's also what we do or do not do. We have to show leadership. We have to show that we do believe in dignity and respect. And that's what's going to happen with the memorial wall as part of this Memorial Stadium project. And this is very important. It's important for the young people to see this and to see us do this and treat the memorial wall right. It's important for them. It's also important for the veterans among us, but all of Seattle. And this is not just a history piece. Yes, the 750 plus names, 762, they're from World War II. But it's not a history piece. I've been to the Garden of Remembrance, and I've stood there with a Gold Star mother. Her son died in Fallujah in 2007. I gave her a hug. And to connect this is, when her son died, that's when today's seniors were being born. It has a direct connection, and it's really important. And it's really important that we do the dignity and respect as it relates to the memorial wall. So I thank everyone that I've already thanked, but everyone that's here for your work in terms of ensuring that we do this right and we do it with dignity and respect. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Lewicki from the One Roof Foundation. Mr. Lewicki.
Well, they gave me 5 minutes, but I have a lot on my mind, so please indulge me. I've worked on a number of important projects in this community. Was involved in building the arena right across the way, but I have never worked on a project in my life that's been more fulfilling, more meaningful than this. And my wife is here, and I shared some of this, and she said, why? So I'm going to share a few whys. First, there's an incredible vision here, and we are going to create the best community stadium in all of the land. We're going to serve our students, and they deserve it. 47,000 students deserve hope. They deserve our best, and they're about to get it. We're going to create here incredible community events. Beth Knox is here, but on this field, Mr. Mayor, our best days are going to be in front of us. Things are going to play here that are going to create lifetime memories. And we have operated in the last 3 years under this simple idea that everyone is going to benefit and no one is going to profit. And in doing that, you needed a partnership. Fred and Marshall represent, but there's so many behind them. Mr. Mayor, the city has been a great partner. You've been mentioned a few times here, Tim, but our city council was such an enthusiastic supporter of this. The city stepped up. The school district passed a bond issue, $66 million, a lot of money. We would have torn this down, but we might not have built something that is capable of the dreams we now have. The city stepped up, but that wasn't enough. A true partnership was formed between the city, between Seattle Public Schools, and with the private sector, and we couldn't be more proud. To make that happen in my world, I needed to work for an owner who truly understood benevolence, because we took a lot on here. We took concepting and design and fundraising and ultimately construction, and someday for a period of time operations. There's a whole team of people that I get to work with who have made all that happen, and we have worked tirelessly the last 3 years. But I stand in front of you today promising that this is going to be one of the greatest community stadiums in all of the land. A big part of what we had to do is get people to buy in, literally. We had a lot of money to go fundraise, and there's lots of things competing for that, so many worthy things. And I'm going to call out some of those donors. Norcliffe, Grousemount Foundation, the Piggott and the Wright family, the Balmer Family Foundation, the Brotman family, Amazon, WaFd Bank, and my friend Brent. The day he donated $2 million after hearing a pitch the night before, I still cry thinking about it. They're trying to shut my mic off. It's not going to work, okay? The Millman family, the Gates Foundation, the Rizzori family, and Maggie Walker, who's already done so much. $30 million raised, and you know what? Maybe we're not done yet. The donors are part of what's inspired me, but extraordinary design and construction. Our friends at Generator Studio, they took this on because they also love this city. They designed our Northgate facility, and they took this on, and because of their work, we can dream now about something great. But selling construction, Scott, you're one of the great leaders in the community, and this is a great project for you to lead. Tear that wall down, sir. Another reason I'm so inspired is the impact this is going to happen on our campus, and that was Marshall's idea. We can't build a pedestrian stadium here. We need to dream big, and we have. Seattle Center's best days are now in front of it, and this is a big piece. Next on my list is the impact to students. We have members of the board here. It's what motivates us every day. 47,000 students who deserve a little bit of good news, and it's coming. This is going to be transformative, not just games, but music, events, memories, fathers, daughters, sons, and education. This is going to be a living classroom for the students. And if we have our way, we're going to generate a profit off the operations of the stadium that will go back to support Seattle Public Schools athletics. We're excited by that, but I'm going to finish by talking about something Bob talked about, and it's that wall and the origin of this stadium and its purpose. About 3 years ago, I was standing in front of the wall and looking. It was before a Kraken game. And a woman came by and said, "What are you looking at?" And I said, "This wall." And she said, "I walk by every day and I never really noticed." So I asked her to repeat it and I filmed it. And anyone who wants to see that video, I can show you. In 1947, the city had about 350,000 people living here. The wall represents 760 students who lost their lives in World War II. Look at the names. Look at the wall. Understand what those students did for not just our community, but they gave the ultimate sacrifice. And as a part of this, we're going to resurrect that wall. That wall was actually designed by a student named Mary Ann Hansen, a student at Garfield High School. It was funded by games played here. 2 years they raised enough to create it. And we're going to resurrect that wall. We're going to honor the wall. But the words on the wall were so appropriate then and are even more appropriate now. Youth, hold high your torch of truth and tolerance, lest their sacrifice be forgotten. It's not going to be forgotten. This facility's best days are in front of it. And as we move into the next phase of what's going to play here, we're actually gaining speed. We're hearing from people. In 730 days, we will open this new stadium, rooted in a vision created 80 years ago, but giving us a chance to think of what the next 80 years will be. And our best days are truly in front of us. Thank you. Katie?